Hey folks, I'm here with Brian at Delaware Paddle Sports. We are rigging up, what's this boat?
The NRS Fishing Kuda 126.
So we're going to put the Torpedo on there, and we're using this specialty adapter plate that Innovative Sportsman makes. And I'm not actually going to film the whole Torpedo install, but I'll give you an overview. I'll show you the beginning and the end, but we're going to go in depth on how to install these things. This is the key to rigging any inflatable. The Yak Attack switch pad flexible mount. You can get it with or without the Mighty Mount switch. The Mighty Mount switch is this plastic piece here that allows you to put the T-bolt in it. This boat comes with, with the switch pad without the you have them here, yep. The Mighty Mount switch. So we're gonna have to put some of these on there. But what we're going to get into, what I'm going to teach Brian how to do here in a second, is how to use the HH66, some painter's tape, some sandpaper to put all these flexible mounts on there. And then at the end, we have things like, these foot control steering slides that are going to go on the track like that. We're going to put a bunch of these all over the place. That one already exists. We're going to glue that one on, and with these gear track as sort of bridges between the two, we're going to have enough of a base of track to really rig out this boat fully.
Yep, sounds good.
But yeah, let's jump into putting a couple of these on there. We'll teach the process. So the first thing that you want to do is to get your positioning right, and I wanted to make sure that this whole bracket was in the right spot. I mean, this is not on there yet. And I wanted to make sure with the Torpedo bracket that we're putting on there that it was far enough back that it's clearing, and it is. The next thing you do is we're going to try and center these as much as possible. And I'll take this custom mount that Trey with Innovative Sportsman made off. Once we get our positioning of these switch pads on there, I'm just going to take the Sharpie, put a couple little very light sort of dots to kind of say, okay, there. I'm getting it even with the seam. I'm trying not to I'm trying to not have this overlap a seam because I want it flat. I'll bring it right to the edge. So the Sharpie's just giving me a guide. And this one I know will just be centered, but I'll mark the front edge of that and that. And then once this is off, I'll mark it side to side to make sure that it's correct. All right, so I have the painter's tape, and I've centered this one. Even if I get it wrong, though, it's kind of nice because Trey gives us a wide slot to go left and right, and make those little adjustments to make sure the motor's straight. But you do want to line this up and make sure it's where you need it to be. One cool little trick, if you find that you have a switch pad that was in shipping or transport or storage or whatever, Brian, come down here with the camera. You see how this little lip is kicked up? If you get a heat gun and just warm that up, it makes this material a lot more flexible. I may just tape it down, but that's just a trick. With a heat gun, you can make these things behave a little bit more. But all I'm doing is making a footprint that I will, when I put the HH66, this is the adhesive that I apply to both sides, that I'm not really going beyond where I want it. You know, it's just making it so it's a clean job, and I don't have it. I'm not painting outside the line, so to speak. So I'm just tearing off a little bit more manageable piece of sandpaper. I think it's 120 grit. I don't have a recommendation for what it has to be, but you want to rough up the bottom of the switch pad and really get it in all directions. And then you're going to do the same thing here. I like to make sure that I go from the outside in to make sure that I have good grip right on the edge, and then I do, when I sand it in the middle, I go in one direction this way and then a cross direction. That cross hatch just gives you good grip from the adhesive, the HH66, this stuff, the vinyl cement. When it grabs, it can grab from multiple directions. So lots of sanding. I haven't had one of these really come up. I have had it where you have that corner that wants to kick up, and usually you have to tape it down. But again, like I said, the heat gun trick is a good one. Something Trey figured out. He usually figures out the good, better install tricks. So Brian went to get the heat gun to calm down that corner that likes to kick up, that dog ear. But before we continue with that, what I'm going to show you is that you want to take this hardware out and you want to get a little bit of Loctite on it. There's something about the physics of driving down the road in an inflated kayak, and I just get a little bit of that blue goo on there. You see that? There's something about the physics of driving down the road and the vibration of an inflated hull that loosens all this hardware. And the one thing I really fear about is when you have this hardware and it starts backing out. If you look at what's on the backing, that's a square 1/4-20 nut, right? And that's going to be sealed in there. And it's not like you can see, hey, is the bolt too long? If the bolt is too long, the bolt is you're gonna screw this through that nut, and it's gonna screw right in this hull, and it's gonna puncture the hull. Don't do that. You will destroy your inflatable if you use the wrong size. It comes with the right size. Actually, the switch pad with Mighty Mount comes with two sizes. One is for the inflatable, one's for a hard deck install, but at least with the switch. But do the Loctite, get that in there so that your hardware doesn't back out as you drive down the road. All right, we got my hair dryer here ready. You need that?
I don't need it.
No.
I'm good on that.
We're just gonna warm that up, which will flatten it out. Just loosen it up. It'll go back to its what it wants to be is flat. And you can feel it getting real flexible. It is kind of hot to the touch. You can do the bottom side too. You can also lay these out in the sun if it's a hot day. That'll do the same thing. Looks like Brian's working on the second tape job. Read the directions. Materials may need cleaning or roughing up before cementing. We've roughed them up. I've not cleaned them. You don't have an alcohol swab, do you?
I
know I do with my.
think I do with my first aid kit.
All right.
You run down and get it.
All right. I've done this before with with goof off or acetone and a rag, but like you're just cleaning the dust off of these. That's all it is. Okay. And then the rest of the directions say apply an even coat to both surfaces to be joined and let dry only 2 to 5 minutes. So basically you're kind of in a rush against time of doing this side that you want to do in 2.5 minutes or less, right? You're just squishing this stuff on there with that brush. And people will ask, well, how thick do you need it on there? You really just need to coat it. It dries pretty quick. Like in 5 minutes, it's basically set up. So if it helps you, you can set a little timer down, but I think I'm probably closing in on a minute from when I started. So I set that aside. Get this side. And you know, if you know that you're 5 minutes from beginning, you know, the switch pad to ending this application. Let's see if Brian can hold the switch pad and answer his phone at the same time.
Just a spam risk. I'm not going to even answer.
No, those are constant.
They are constant.
It's bad. I think it conditions people to like never answer their phone and just say, yeah, they'll leave a message if it matters.
I can't do that.
No. Too much business lost. All right. So we let that sit. I don't know if I put a timer on this or not. You know, I know that this has been over. You just don't want this one to go longer than 5 minutes, if that makes any sense. In the center first, and then just kind of work its way out. Brian, I would say we want to put a little more air in this guy at some point, because we're going to be pushing on it. And right now, I know it's less than.
You move that stand back too.
Yeah. All right. So here. That's good. So as I'm squishing this on there, I'm really pushing from the center out, and I'm hoping to squish the bubbles towards the edge if there are any. But you're really applying pressure to all parts just to make sure that sticks down there good. If I had my corner that was popping up, this would certainly help it. It's not totally necessary, but because this one wanted to do that, it certainly, with it being an endothermic reaction, helps speed up the process of this sealing, which I think is a good move.
And where can you buy the vinyl cement?
So I got mine from NRS.
Okay.
If you don't have a heat gun and you have one that's kicking up like that, one thing that you can do, just take some of this and just mash it down. You don't need to do it if it's not an issue, but that one's on a little bit of a bend. This one wants to kind of kick up a little bit, so I'm gonna just
taper down.
Yep, taper down. We'll come back to this in a little bit and pull all that off, and that's it. We have, how many do we have to do?
Let's
These
see.
3.
We've got 5 more.
And then 5 more. So we're going to do a bunch. We're going to do the Torqeedo install. You're going to see the foot control steering on there. You're going to see a throttle mount on there. And we might as well put some of the Mighty Mount switches on the rear ones, which we're not really connecting to much of anything, but it'll be a good place to put some Omega Pro rod holders, whatever you want. But this is the basis for rigging everything else and getting track on there. I will show you how I use the gear track to create a bridge from one to the other. All right, so once you get multiples of these put on the boat, you want to space them in a way that if you have some gear track, and this is GT175, I got all these.
Yeah.
I've lost track of, it's GT175. This is the 16-inch long, so we're getting the longest stretch we can for the foot control steering. But basically, we're gonna get, when it's on there, and we gotta space it right. We're putting a T-bolt in there, right? I'm gonna drill a hole in this for that T-bolt to go up through. It's gonna go on there, and then I'm gonna put a wing knob on top of it, and then on the other side I'm gonna do the same thing. So you're basically creating a bridge between two of these. Put that aside. I've already put the bracket on there. The motor's down there ready to go. These 3 switch pads have already set up, and we're just gonna pull the tape off here. So I've finished taking those off, put this bracket on, and then I'll work on the foot control steering. Brian is still working on this switch pad up front. Basically, you have the one that was already on there. That one's still setting up, but this is what it looks like after we've put the foot control steering slides, and that really adding more of them and adding the track is how you basically make track near the seat or wherever you need it,
right,
to rig whatever you need on it. All right, we got her done. I'm glad you know how to do the switch pad install.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this rig and what the switch pad sort of unlocks?
Yeah, the switch pad allows you to do pretty much whatever you want on this. It's awesome setup, super clean install. I mean, got plenty of space here for all kinds of gear too. So yeah, I'm loving it. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, man. So this one's for sale.
It is. Total package here, $53.99.99.
Okay.
Yep. Tax free.
The boat is what, $1,500 bucks?
$14.95.
The motor is roughly $3,000.
Correct. Yeah.
And a lot of the rest of it is the foot control steering kit, the throttle mount, the extra switch pads, and I mean this stuff adds up.
Yeah, there's
for sure
over $400 in Yak Attack parts on this.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot going on here.
And then for sure some labor to now you know how to do it.
Yeah, right. It's a lengthy install. So yeah.
Hope you rig up a bunch of inflatables, man.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
Thanks, Jeff.
Enjoyed it.
Bam.